What is up, guys and gals, finessers and finessettes? It is I, Vonzarelli, fell-handed boat game nature boy. Today we are going to be in the Kagero Tier 7 Japanese DD Destroyer. Also, make sure to check back later during the week. We're going to have some Charlemagne footage there for you if you want to check that out. Also, guys, if you want me to feature your video on the channel, by all means let me know. I will make that happen. Speaking of that type of thing, make sure to go down into the description box, go down to World of Warship Peeps, and check out some of the other folks I have down there. They all have very, very interesting stuff. So I urge you to hit that link, go to their channel, check it out, and subscribe. More on that later. Moving on. So, yes, we have had a rough go of making footage on the channel here the last week and a half. A lot going on here in my little old personal life. So we haven't really been able to put up things reliably. Now, let's get back to the game here before we miss something important. Now, as you all know, normally my first blind fire salvo kind of, goes wherever. But with this, there is actually intent. I'm actually actively trying to bracket this gentleman as he goes through that little gap. Have a Moss over here to our 3 o'clock. We go ahead and pop some smoke. Looks like he's kind of stuck there. Either way, we're not necessarily concerned about him. We're going to go ahead and pop smoke. Bust a Yui there. Go ahead and fix the screws. Even though we do have Unstoppable, but, why not? Let's just go ahead and do it. That gentleman went ahead and fired his torpedoes after us. Not really anything much happening right there. Not much of a big deal at all. Taking some fire there from our starboard side. Not necessarily crazy about it. It seems the other gentleman, kind of had an idea we're over here, so they started to put some rounds on us. 51K right there off the jump. Managed to connect with some fish going through the little inlet there, whatever you want to call it. Looks like the poor fella here is permaflooding. Good for us, bad for him. I'm okay with it. Looks like he kind of got it under control there. And this, folks, is why you should never put out one fire. Moving on. Now, I'm kind of pulling back out of that zone, and the reason is, I know a lot of folks are going to ask me, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the reason is, as you can see there, top left-hand corner, there's not a whole lot going on. The one or two, big juicy ships were kind of heading towards the mid. There's a little bit of tomfoolery around there. But for the most part, the meat is going to be over this way. And as a DD, your job is to put people in submission, Cobra Clutch. So that is, that's kind of what we're doing here. You can't really put anybody in a submission hold if there's nobody to put a submission hold on. So that's kind of where we're heading towards the mid here. Better hunting grounds, better opportunity to really rip some meat off of some folks. And that's kind of what we're going for. And that's what you guys should go for as a DD operator. Now, of course, there's nothing scarier than a destroyer that's not on the map. Same thing goes for World of Tanks for a light tank. So, just throwing it out there. Gonna try to maybe throw some more through the gap here. Just kind of toying with the idea. We have our concealability or detectability down to 4.7 on the sea. So we can, that enables us to get really close to a lot of people. And with the 71 knot torps, unless they start turning immediately, they're going to have a lot of problems. And that's kind of the best, situation you want to be. You want to set yourself up in, And what I mean by that is, yes, you have super fast torps. Yes, they're, 11.6 kilometers with DD God, what have you. But the point is if they're fast and you get close, you have less reaction time. And that's kind of what I'm trying to lay down there. 97,000. We went ahead and snuck a couple in there. Not really paying attention. Kind of going off on a tangent. Yes, but it's an educational tangent, so it's okay. Moving on. We're already, you can kind of see, as soon as the Torps got the launchers, we're already looking for the second target. And most of the time, you know, if you've already fired Torps at somebody, they're really going to be on point for the next 3-4 minutes. So I kind of find it's best if you're able to kind of switch up your targets. Is there somebody who's out on their own? Do they not have a plane up? You know, are they engaged? You know, what is going on with him? Now, granted, of course, this guy right here, he's taken some damage, but he's not actively being engaged. So, you know, is this a perfect target? No. Because, you know, he has nothing else to do but just kind of post up and wait on something to happen. But in this case, as you can see there, that second set is on top of him. You know, he would almost have to be halfway through the turn by the time the first set got to him. You know, and that's kind of why I'm a big fan of the Japanese torpedoes, because they are so fast. And that's, you know, like I said previously, less reaction time. It's about, you know, getting the biggest bang for your buck. Now, granted, of course, we could go out here and, you know, do the same finessery in any, you know, other DD, but there has to be a lot of luck involved, and the other guy has to do exactly the wrong thing, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you're sending Torps to somebody and he's, you know, properly engaged, you're just not paying attention, and you know, you're firing from 10 plus clicks, whatever, you know, your chances of hitting are reduced, obviously. But, you know, at the same time, if your prey is kind of slipping, you may have a good chance. So there's not a hard and fast rule, you know, to torpedo folks, because you have no idea what the other guy's going to do. And if he's like me in a BB, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So I don't know. I'm kind of afraid I went into this trying, you know, for your own edification, but I'm coming out of this, and I'm afraid you're going to be more confused than you were in the start. I guess is what I'm trying to say here, folks, is give yourself all the advantages you can. And with those advantages, it's going to end up helping you in the long run, as long as you are using them to their fullest extent. And that's why I say, I've said it before, when you go through your skills on whatever captain, on whatever vessel, you know, BB, whatever you're running, and if you pick something and if you're not using it a lot, you probably need to change it. That's why, you know, anything that, you know, let's talk battleships, for instance. Anything that gives your battleships, you know, extended range, that is awesome. You know, I'm just kind of referring to just general skills as far as your commanders go. You know, you don't want to go out here and you don't want to have something that you're not utilizing to the fullest. You know, speaking of the torpedoes, I believe there's a skill that gives you plus X knots, and then there's subsurface venture that gives you plus X knots, you know, plus this minus this. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, when you think about it, when you just kind of boil the numbers down, I'm a kind of an analytical person as is. That's what folks who know me will say, and I will go over something and just crunch the numbers and crunch the numbers and crunch the numbers until I come out with exactly the best scenario of whatever. And that's kind of what I want you guys to do. You know, just go into whomever captain, whoever you want. And the same with the ships. You know, if it's not something, that's why, for example, you guys never see me take the the very first upgrade of, what is it? The gun traverse. Because you get 15% gun traverse, but you get a 5% reload nerf. You never want to nerf your DPM. That is not a good look. Your gun traverse is something that can be handled by you. If you have your man part screwed on tight, or respective lady part screwed on tight, you should already have the guns in the area of contention. It shouldn't be a surprise. If you have to swing your guns around last minute, you're doing it wrong. Or you're kind of surrounded, which is, a totally different thing. I guess is what I'm saying is in the long run it shouldn't really matter. But you don't really ever want to have a DPM nerf as a general rule. And if you guys have any questions on, what to pick for what ship, comment below. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for the community. I'm trying to help everybody out. And let me know if this is helping out. It seems like the more I talk, the more I'm kind of coming off as someone who is trying to actively confuse you. But I'm really not. Biggest bang for the buck. If you have one takeaway from this, it should be that. How about that? But anyway, moving on. And, in relation to that, a lot of people would say, well, the Akatsuki is equal to or better than the Kagero. So, why aren't you running that? It's a good point. It's personal preference. So, I am not realistically using everything to my advantage. So kind of keep that in mind. A lot of it, some of it boils down to personal preference, but you don't want to handicap yourself in such a way that, it's going to be harder for you to win games, harder for you to go out there and get damage, just because you like playing like this. Take a Roman vibe on everything. The Romans, if they fought somebody and they were winning after the Romans killed them because they could just throw troops at it, they would adopt that tactic. Kind of treat it like that. If somebody does something and they really finessed you and you're like, oh man, that guy really screwed me over, I'm angry. Instead of being angry, be smart. You take that knowledge, you take what he did to you, and you regurgitate it back onto someone else at a different game. Then, eventually you adopt it as part of your playstyle. The key is that you really need to kind of be aware of what works and what doesn't work. If you're reliably getting shut down, you need to kind of change it up. You're in YouTube already, so you're already trying to better yourself as far as the game goes. Or you're just trying to hear, somebody kind of ramble on. Either way, you're in the right place. But at the same time, you may also, if you notice somebody's doing well in your game and you die, spectate that particular vessel. See what he or she does. See how you can kind of get out there and make things happen. You always want to be able to kind of better yourself. And, make yourself more successful in this game. Nobody ever comes out and says, I sure would like to be crappier at this game. Everybody wants to be better. So make sure, you do everything in order to become better. And, use every resource at your disposal. Talk to people, get their input. You meet, some decent folks in game chat. Go to the forums on, I don't think they actually have forums per se, the Discord channel. You could do that. You could, go to YouTube, start a group on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you're on. Whatever. Just get out there, get all the information you can, and just make it happen. Just learn from everything. Quick side note here, folks. I had originally wanted to post a video on how to torpedo, what to do, how to think, and then I kind of got in here and I just kind of went off on an educational tangent, which I guess would be the best kind of tangent to go down. I guess. I don't know. Either way, if you guys enjoyed it, comment below, let me know, because, you know, I need to kind of know what you guys enjoy, what you guys don't enjoy. If you guys enjoy it, we'll have more of my educational rambling. If not, I'll stick with the, I don't know, whatever else you want to call it that I was doing. Guys, hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to check out all those folks in World of Warship Peeps. Guys, we'll see you next time.